Okay, good evening, everybody. I'm going to call the Franklin School Board meeting to order, January 21st. Could we all please rise to salute the flag? Okay, Colleen, was the meeting posted as we needed to?
Yes, sir.
We're all set, ready to go? Okay. So we're going to start out tonight with the reconstitution of the Franklin School Board. So I will take a motion for chair.
I nominate Liz Cody as chair.
I'll second that.
Any other nominations? Okay, all in favor of Liz as chair, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations, we have a new chair, Liz Cody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Take it from there, Liz.
Okay. All right. So I'll take nominations for vice chair.
I'll nominate Lori Cass.
I'll second.
Okay. All right. Any other nominations? All right. All those in favor of Lori for vice chairperson, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? All right. Congrats, Lori. She'll come back a new person. All right, and finally, we'll take nominations for treasurer. I nominate Michael Lombardo for treasurer.
It's like it's a predetermined thing here.
Let's ask. Yeah, I asked.
Is that-
No, it's-
Okay, cool. All right, so second, any other nominations? Okay, all those in favor of Michael as treasurer, say aye.
Do we want to table that nomination to the next meeting? We have a larger group.
We can't wait till the next meeting. You know, we need a treasurer. Someone's got to step up to be treasurer.
It's true.
She has to let it, that's true.
Yeah.
Oopsie.
Or do we want to come back to it later with Jeff?
Put somebody in until you know the rules, and then you guys can have a discussion. And they do that. Do whatever they want, it's their reconstitution.
I mean, you come back to it later tonight if you want to, but we need to leave here with a treasurer tonight.
I'll do that.
Okay.
Let's vote on it.
All right, so.
So what are the, explain what a treasurer's responsibilities are?
So the treasurer's name goes on the checks,
Yep.
and the treasurer's responsibility is to come in as often as possible to review the manifests. So I've seen treasurers who come in once a week. I've seen treasurers who come in once a quarter. So it really is dependent on the involvement of the treasurer. Jefferson can speak more to this. We have a district treasurer for the district as well that does all the balancing of the books and all that. I don't know, Jefferson, if you want
Yeah, so.
to chime in on that, but.
Usually what happens is, and it's mostly with the AP manifests, the accounts payables, the board treasurer would come in before we send the checks out. We send them out on Fridays, so once a business office would complete a manifest, we would reach out to the school board treasurer and set up a time where they can come in and review the manifest, go through the invoices and whatever else, and sign off on them. And then we send the checks out on Friday. You can also do that with payroll, which is the other week. So it's usually every week, basically payroll 1 week, AP is the other week. And it's just basically just reviewing the documents, make sure everything looks good, and signing off on it. And we have a signature sheet that the school board treasurer signs off on, basically the finance committee signs off on it, and myself and the superintendent.
I just want to be honest with the board, my hesitation is it ever
So what kind of time, how much time are you talking per week? Is it a 15-minute thing? Is it a?
15, 20 minutes, yeah.
I can.
Deb used to come in at like 6:30 in the morning before work. She would sit, review it, and go through it. Like I said, I've seen others do it even quicker than that. I've been here a long time, so I've seen a little bit different.
Did staff make special arrangements to accommodate that time?
Yeah, staff is all salaried at the SAU, so we worked around people's
There's
schedules.
always so much you can come in to either do the manifest for AP or the manifest for payroll. Payroll manifest isn't as complicated because everybody has contracts, but
Okay, do we have any other nominations?
I'll nominate Ian Fifield.
Okay, any discussion, questions?
I will do it. It's just, it's just a lot, but I will do it. If you will, if you.
I don't know where we're at in terms of Robert's Rules of Orders
There you
and
go, right,
withdrawing
okay.
and.
Well, there was no second to yours.
There was no
So-
second to you.
nobody
Do you need a
seconded.
second?
So we'll leave it with Michael.
So you'd have to,
Jane just
Withdraw
said she's
yours.
seconding.
I'll withdraw my nomination of Leanne Fifield.
Correct, so now we're back. Motion to nominate Michael, we have first and second, yes?
there was a second on that one, on yours?
I did, I
Yeah,
believe I
Jane
seconded.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Now we'll vote.
But that's for him now.
Yes, yep, so nominate Michael, so all those in favor of nominating Michael for treasurer, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Congratulations.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. All right, that concludes the reconstitution of the board. Thank you, everybody. We'll move to item number 4, public participation. And so agenda item 4 is public participation. This is our public comment, and no more than 30 minutes will go to this portion of the meeting. I ask that each speaker keep their comments to 3 minutes, and please state both your name and the ward you live in. If we do run out of time, there's a second public participation agenda item at the end of the meeting. Today it is item 16. Are there any members of the public who wish to address the board today?
I'm coming to you because I can't hear you back there, but I'm probably loud enough you can hear me. Kathy Fuller, I live in Ward 3. I have a history where I served 9 years on this school board and a term at City Council as well. And I'm here today on behalf of a volunteer group. I gave the superintendent comments and Michael to read. If I didn't make it, I'm here. This is a public report of the volunteer group working on a skating rink. You may have heard some rumors about it. I have asked your school board member and the superintendent to place it as a late item. Earlier this month, I reacted to a social media post. Actually, I was severely horrified. The post showed a cleared section on the Winnipesaukee River on the Bow Street area, if you're not familiar with that area or town. My 45 years of nursing included a stint in the emergency room, where I actually had to participate on a Franklin youngster who did not survive a drowning incident. So you can imagine the emotions that came back when I saw that. I clearly saw 2 young adults on the river and later confirmed that with one of those individuals. He does have young children. The children were not on the rink or the river, and he is participating as a volunteer with our group to find an alternative to skating on the river. So I quickly reacted and called the mayor and said, what can we do? She reached out to a number of other volunteers, people committed to outdoor recreation, and we met on the 14th, several days later, actually only 2 days later, at the Franklin Public Library with a group of volunteers to look into what we could do. We reached out to various communities in the central New Hampshire area, Concord, Bow, Tilton, Boscawen, New London, and receive from them the reports on how they maintain a community skating rink. They all seem to be temporary with the exception of Concord, which does take care of 2 shallow ponds And they do put up another rink on a flat section of park nearby. We looked into and have been investigating regulations, maintenance, insurance, and construction of a rink. We actually put out, because we discovered a wonderful rink over in Lebanon, Maine, which is only an hour and 10 minutes away, and we received the specs for it. It's a 33 by 33 or 60. Anyways, 2/3 of the size of an NHL hockey rink. It's only been used 3 times, 3 years, the last 2 years sparingly. Thanks. 66 by 130, to be accurate. We immediately began through social media, of course, pledging, looking for pledges. We have an excess of funds to purchase this. I also have, we did substantial investigation of the local flat areas in the community that have been used in the past. Daniel Park has been used in the past. Odell Park has been used in the past. Actually, I discovered today, Marceau Park was also used as a site early on. I didn't tell that to the local reporter. So there's a history of rinks. But the last rink used, from my understanding, is the baseball outfields at Odell Park. Instead of letting the natural skating rink occur that many of us who grew up in the 60s and 70s remember, they filled it in so it could be the outfield of a baseball field that they constructed for Cal Ripken, or Little League at the time, now Cal Ripken. So the rink was gone, and they never resurrected it again. Occasionally, if they get enough volunteers and people get anxious, they've used the pond across the street from the outing club, the ski area on Great Gaines Forest. They're currently using that water source to make snow. So it's not a great pond to be using, period. In fact, the insurance company rep told me they should be posting it no skating because of the activity going on with the snowmaking. Who knows what they're going to do. We did identify the lower track field because 2 years ago, I had a conversation with your athletic director about what it would cost. What would we need to raise to put that back as a track that could be used for the community as a walking route? Because there aren't too many safe areas for elders to walk at night. Couldn't we put up lights? Couldn't we, have a good track down there? And at that time, he told me it was $32,000 was the quote they had for the district to rehab that park, rehab that oval for a track. So my volunteer group said for this temporary solution, that might be doable. We have the money, we still have a lot of answers. Because what we're literally doing, since we're not even a nonprofit yet, this volunteer group, is taking the cash and buying the rink. There's a company that will provide us with 3 solar massive lights to light up on timers. It would be up to the school to tell us what hours we should be there if you approve this. What hours would you like the lights on? We still have to come up with rules. You can't put the littles on the ice with the teenage hockey players. So there's got to be a division. There's got to be a volunteer there every day so that if you're having difficulty with the olders harassing the littles, you can mediate and say, it's too early for you guys. Can you come back at 6 or whatever time that the committee, the volunteer group, comes up with. I've received volunteer commitments from over 30 residents in this community. I've received pledges from over 20, including a matching grant from a nonprofit locally. We've approached the city's highway and fire department for assistance through the city council, so that's going to have to wait till the city council, city manager look at that, because you need to plow down that access road. Right now, it's not being plowed because it's not being used by the school or the city for that fishing pier that's down there. They don't want to encourage people down there on that part of the river. The mayor does have an ad hoc skating committee that they set up last March. just never went anywhere. There's 2 members on the committee right now from the council. There are no community members on the council. So my volunteer group is asking, can we use this lower field as a temporary solution? I was assured by the insurance representative who works with the city that it has always been included as just another athletic offering to the city of Franklin and the Franklin Outing Club, which they insure the Great Gaines Memorial Recreation Area up there, that it would be nominal to add it to an existing policy. But that's just his conversation with me. That's not an official conversation with your finance person calling your insurance and saying, what's this going to do to the policy? It could be exorbitant, in which case we don't expect it to move forward. Because I don't want this costing the school district or the city of Franklin 1 penny. So that's our proposal. We anticipate this will not be here next year. This is a 1 year only. I don't know if you, I'll talk later. Okay.
So weird without a podium. Desiree McLaughlin, Ward 2, Mayor. I just feel empty. So, I don't know, can you hear me? Because it's really strange, now that the machine is off, but it was like a strange white noise you couldn't hear until it turned off. Just as, 2 things. First, I could hear Liz Cody is the chair, congratulations. And I believe Mike Lombardo is the treasurer, congratulations. But I didn't hear the middle one. Who's the vice chair? Lori Cat, congratulations, okay. I just wanted to, I couldn't hear it. So thank you. Thank you for letting me speak for my 3 minutes. The ad hoc, I kind of knew this was something people had been requesting this. So we created, I actually spoke with the city manager at the time. I haven't had a chance to speak with her since, but she was all for it. And it's actually made it to the CIP, but it was, I think, $350,000, and we were like, no, that should be like grant funded. So the idea is that this will be volunteer, and you got all the details from our citizen of the year over there who proved herself, her worth, within 2 days, had everybody just collected into the library. What I plan on doing, just to let you know, is appoint people to the ad hoc, because right now it's just Olivia Zink and myself. So I will be appointing people after that. So it won't be empty. It's just a timing thing. But I do hope you would, if everything works out, all the numbers, that you would want to be inclined to approve this so that we can make sure that our happy youth are not skating on the river or doing something else. This will be a happy activity. So thank you.
Any other members of the public wish to speak? Seeing none, we will close that item. Thanks, everybody. And we will move on to item number 5, Policy BCA, the Staff Ethics Sign-Off. Dan.
Every year at the first meeting of the school board, we hand out the school district board approved ethics policy for everybody to take a look at and sign off. if the sign-off sheets can just make their way back to me, I'll sign off and Liz can sign off. And I'll house those for another year.
And we hold on to the,
You can hold on to the policy itself. But
frame it. I don't know last time I had to write my name this many times. It doesn't even look real. Okay.
all right, thank you guys.
All right. Thanks, everyone. All right, moving on to item number 6, reassignment of the Franklin School Board committees by yours truly. So Dan is handing out the 2025, what year? The committees for this year. You will see that we did try to have more people, more representatives to help get everybody involved and learning as much as possible and just trying to make it so the committees just run more smoothly because you have more people able to handle the responsibilities. And so what we would like to do today is to actually take time, go through each committee and set an initial meeting time, just so we have that moving forward. Recognizing that a couple people are absent and we may have to change it, it's just good to get something on the books so that we don't miss a beat with our committees. So, school board goals, Lori, you are by yourself currently. So,
Is it okay if I reach out to Marie and Ruth and try to find a date?
Coordinate, we can
yep,
coordinate.
you'll coordinate. Yeah, if you were the sole representative, we'll, you can handle that later. All right, scholarship, Jack, Leanne, Ruth, and, oh, we do, okay, well, someone have to do that. All right, so Jack and Leanne. Oh, scholarship, does that
They
mean?
don't actually have to meet.
You don't have to meet yet.
Is it April?
Not till April-ish, yeah.
Well,
We've got plenty of time.
so we should schedule that now.
Get it on Jack's calendar.
Get it on Jack's calendar.
Once all my budget seasons are done in March, so things really start to open up for me. So I can do a lot of things in April, May. Do we typically meet on Thursdays? Like what days do we?
It's
That
only a
is-
committee that meets once or twice a year, so it's really up to you guys to pick a day that works. And
School vacation week, the 21st to the 25th for us this year?
Oh,
no, I think it's the 28th to the 2nd of
Okay,
May.
actually, yeah. So maybe do it before we go on break then?
I'm wide open that week, so
24th?
24th?
Of April?
Yes.
Isn't that the day of the?
that is the day of the breakfast, the volunteer breakfast.
That would actually, you're gonna be down there anyway, so you guys could probably get it out of the way pretty quick. Lori, how many scholarships were there to bring?
I think it was one.
Jack, what time do you want to do that at? Jack and Leanne?
Do you want to do it in the morning?
I don't care.
Are you gonna?
That's gonna be a breakfast. It's
after that?
That all right?
Fine with me, we'll put it in for an hour, 10 o'clock,
Perfect.
hour breakfast, and then we'll do scholarship.
All right.
I say breakfast too.
What a lovely morning. All right, so scholarship 424 at 10 a.m. Thank you. Finance/capital improvement. Mike, Lori, Jane are members here today. Take it away.
How frequently?
We meet once a month, and try to do it at least the week before the school board meeting, so I can talk about and enroll into the school board meeting. So the February board meeting is the 17th. So maybe that first full week of February, Wednesday or Thursday that week, maybe, 5 or 6, would be a good time for.
Thursday the 5th.
Thursday's the 6th, I think.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So we can go either one of those days as long as, if it's good for you
I
guys.
like 5 or 5:30, but what do you guys think?
I can do 5:30.
5:30. What do you think, Lori? 5:30 works. Okay, the 6th at the SAU.
You wanna do that Thursday the 6th? We'll do finance, and you said 5:30, guys? 5:30 finance. Perfect. That's Thursday, February 6th.
Good.
So that's great.
All right, we'll move down. Policy. Me, Marie, Leanne, and Jack. Policy has been meeting the first or second Tuesday of each month. We tend to meet early, but we can obviously move that to accommodate our new members. Do you have Tuesdays, any Tuesdays in February?
First Tuesday, I have a board meeting every month. Second Tuesday, do not.
Okay, second Tuesday, would you be available the 11th?
I am.
Okay, it's less than a week away.
11th looks good.
11th?
No, February 11th,
Yeah.
that's
Liam?
plenty of time.
We've been meeting at 4:30. That's kind of early. Does that work?
I'll do it.
Does it work? Does it actually work?
I'll get home.
Okay. All right, so
Appreciate
we'll do Tuesday, February 11th at 4:30.
4:30 policy on the 11th. Perfect.
Can we, I apologize, can we look at the finance committee?
Yeah, sure.
Could we move that to the 5th, the Wednesday at 5:30?
I can. Is
Laura?
Wednesday better for, so delete the 6th?
5:30 start.
Yeah.
We're moving it to the 5th.
All right. I too, Lori, Mike, and myself.
How long is policy?
Um,
90 minutes?
yeah, 90 minutes. We don't go over 90 minutes. Sometimes it's shorter.
Do you want to do it the same day? How do you feel about that?
I would actually, if I can get loop coverage, then yeah,
So we would do 6 o'clock on the,
that would work for me. 6 o'clock on the 11th.
Mike, does that work for you?
Dan?
So we're gonna do policy and then we're gonna do I-2?
Yeah.
Oh, you guys, my wife will be thrilled. She'll be thrilled.
Okay.
6 o'clock, I-2 on the 11th.
11 at 6. Yeah, we did one policy meeting longer than that, and it got fuzzy, so we we keep it 9 minutes. Negotiations, we don't have to do that yet, right?
Negotiations we don't need to do.
Okay. Negotiations.
I'll take that one.
Oh, really? We met
You
like
would-
15 times last.
I was
No,
saying,
we don't have any negotiations for 2 years?
No, well, we have some items we're dealing with right now, though.
stay in lane, Jack. Okay, so negotiations, we will do it when we do it. Okay. Legislative, NHSBA, nothing. I mean, there's,
Do we have an overview of that role?
So yearly, there's a meeting
Safety.
with NHSBA to go over, review legislation, and we'll go over it as a group. We did it this past year, to get a consensus on how we want to represent Franklin. And they'll go through all of those items and, vote as we indicate. There are, like Jack noted, sometimes there's changes.
Yeah.
And you just have to what you believe the team would do, or I think you can abstain from a vote if you're really not sure.
And it's typically May,
It was in the spring, wasn't it?
spring?
It
Oh,
was
October.
in the fall.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the fall.
Okay.
It was
Okay.
fall.
You're
Time
a
flies.
really busy lady.
Jane, are you sign up, do you regularly get the
I
NHS
do.
meeting ones? Okay,
I
so
do.
so you're
Yeah,
gonna
I
get
just
that
wasn't
legislative overview.
sure about the liaison piece
Okay,
of it. but-
perfect, yeah, I feel like that, if you're getting those
Yeah.
and you take a look at that, that's the foundational knowledge, and you can ask Lori for,
Yeah, I only went once, but.
When do they
Oh.
have to pick an
because, yeah, you
alternate?
used to be there.
When did we pick you as an alternate? I don't remember. Did we do that at Reconstruction?
Oh, yeah, we do need an alternate, don't we?
I'll be alternate.
All right, Laura will be here.
Because you were alternate, now you're.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll
she
just-
did.
I'll just stay in that position.
Laura, you wanna be alternate?
Yep, Laura's gonna be the alternate.
Get this updated.
Okay. And finally, safety. Leanne, Jack, and Ruth. So Jack and Leanne. Once a quarter.
We try to be quarterly,
Yeah, once a quarter.
but we're due for a meeting. Sooner rather than later. Because we have policies we gotta do.
Yeah.
due for
There's a reason why,
No
there's a
pressure.
reason why we made. Just so we could have a meeting.
Well, your calendar's busier than mine, so give me a date and I'll let you know if I can make it.
Today's the 21st. 27th, 29th, 30th?
Of January?
Yeah, my,
That's not enough time
Any
to
of those.
post it.
oh wait, 7,
Is it? What's today, the 21st?
Yeah, do you need 7 days? 30th we could do,
Do the 30th, yeah.
yep,
Thursday, 30th, what time?
we did 5:30. Is that when we were doing them?
5:30 work for you guys? 30th, that's fine.
January 3rd, 5:30.
Just a quick question. On the school board goals, are we meeting monthly on that?
That's a,
I don't think we, I mean, it's new. so-
it's new, so really, I think it can be up to you. I would maybe start monthly and then possibly go to quarterly once we get processes up and running, the website finalized, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Excellent.
I have a question.
Yes.
What happened to the liaison to the city council?
It is still present. It's still a joint, it still exists, but it has not met.
Hasn't met
It hasn't met,
in a
so
long
if
time, so
that,
just left it off at this point.
yeah, we are not currently allocating somebody. If it does arise, we'll revisit it. Yeah.
We were trying not to have a committee if it wasn't meeting, just so everybody would have active committees and not something that didn't meet, because we felt badly that people were on it, but it didn't meet, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, great question. Any other questions or discussion before we move on? Thank you, everyone. Committee's up and running. Okay, we will move to item number 7, recognitions.
We have some wonderful volunteers from our city in the audience. Evening, our mayor, our city council members, our citizen of the year, and our lovely gentleman this evening. Thanks for being here.
I'd like to recognize Courtney Kaplan, sophomore FHS basketball player, for scoring her 1,000th point last week. It was an amazing event. The gym was packed. It was unbelievable and really exciting. And you couldn't have asked for a better event in the new gym at that time. And I just want to recognize her and her family. It was just wonderful. So I was glad I was able to be there for it. And really proud of her, and she's got a good shot at maybe 2,000, so should be good, so.
And I would like to recognize everybody affiliated with the Focus Walks, but particularly Carissa and Jewel for chaperoning us around. I was able to take part partially in the Focus Walks on January 8th, and it was a wonderful experience. It was great getting to talk with teachers and administrators and just everybody. And it was really well organized and I think really productive. So thank you in particular to Chris and Jules for facilitating that. All right, we will close that item, move on. Item number 8, Zoe's not able to be with us tonight, so we will move on to item number 9, approval of prior board minutes. We have November 25th and December 16th, 2024. So we need a motion to approve minutes.
So moved.
Excellent. Are we doing them together? Okay. All right, we have motion made by Jane, seconded by Lori. Any discussion? All right, all in favor of approving? Oh.
There's something on the November minutes, because I think that there was recognitions in there. I thought that I had recognized Danny Sylvester during that time, because he was just awarded the Hometown Hero on the 3rd of November, so it was omitted.
It was
from-
called Hometown Hero?
Yes.
I must have missed that.
Yeah.
Corporate market.
Oh, it was the article that you were looking at?
That's the only thing that I saw. I wasn't there in December, so.
I looked at the minutes for that.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All right, all in favor of approving minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Mike is abstaining. All right, excellent, thank you. Minutes pass. And item number 10, financial report with Jefferson.
All right, exciting stuff here for you.
Riveting.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So I hope you had the opportunity to review the financial reports that I had uploaded to the drive. We are currently considered over budget at this point by $308,403. This is a decrease from the prior month of $23,654. So it was a little progress in the right direction. However, the special ed director came to me today and destroyed that pretty quickly with another out-of-district placement. So I'll report to that next time. But in reference to how it went this way, Dan and Jewel and I are working with the administration and looking at different ways to keep hopefully improving on our budget by finding different funding sources and looking at grants and seeing what is eligible for being covered in those grants. Obviously, this deficit does not mean that we are overspent as of yet. It just means that if you look at what we spent and what we've got encumbered, puts us over the top on that. So we'll be keeping an eye on that as we keep to move forward. Currently, our total special education budget is $778,995 more than was budgeted. This is an increase of about $12,800 from the prior month. And unfortunately, special education costs continue to be an albatross to the budget. We continue to receive some revenue at higher than projected. The EFA phase-out grant for students that leave the district and take advantage of the education funding accounts came in at $9,664 greater than was budgeted. Long-term, that's not a good sign, but short-term, that helps us financially this year. Special education aid, which is related to prior year out-of-district costs, came in at $39,485 higher than was budgeted. Charter school aid, which is an ADM reimbursement of special education students that attend a charter school in the prior year, came in at $33,165 more. Also, vocational transportation aid that we received was about $3,000 higher than was budgeted. Indirect costs related to grant administration is currently $25,540 higher than budgeted, and that will keep increasing every month we submit our claims through the rest of the school year. And interest on the district bank account is currently $39,737 higher than budgeted. Fortunately, with the Federal Reserve rate as high as it is, we're getting better interest on our bank account. In our other local revenue that you will see on the revenue report, we have received energy rebates from Liberty Utilities related to the HVAC upgrades and window upgrades that we've made in the past year throughout the district, which has brought in an excess of $20,424 above what was budgeted. The only area of uncertainty right now is the Medicaid reimbursement, which stands at $21,810. I believe we are a little bit better than we were this time last year. I do have $145,000 budgeted for the year, but it's still too early to tell how much more we will receive, because we typically receive the majority of our revenue for Medicaid during the second half of the school year, as more of the eligible services that are incurred are submitted to the Medicaid system to get reimbursed. Overall, our general fund revenues are just $21,113 under the grand total budgeted for the year, which I'm very confident we will surpass within the next couple of months. And that's the highlight of my excitement for the financial information. Does anybody have any questions?
Jack.
Surprise.
I know that you guys said that you were watching expenditures. Have you considered any other measures that we need to implement at this stage of the game?
Well, we actually are in the budget freeze right now.
We are,
So we
okay.
are telling people, even though you've got money encumbered, we will only look at purchasing any of that stuff if it's related to an emergency of necessity. And otherwise, even though you got it encumbered, which we're leaving it encumbered, and usually I do significant cleanup towards the end of the year, which recoups a few $100,000 occasionally. And we'll see, hopefully, that's what I'm happening, because historically that has happened, but this is a very interesting year, so it'll be interesting to see if that plays out in that manner, and we hope to find that to be the case this year too.
So I met with the superintendent of Winnisquam last week and the special ed people over there with our special ed people. We are looking to streamline transportation with them, starting immediately. We have some common locations where their students are going and our students are going. So we spent about an hour and a half reviewing cases and looking for places where we could share transportation. So we took that step. I met with 5 other district superintendents in the region to start looking a little bit long-term at special education placements of K-8 students, elementary students is the focus. Actually, it's K-6, I should say. We meet with them again this week, Rebecca and I, on Wednesday, trying to think about a collaborative approach for students that we would typically be putting out of district and spending up to $200,000 a piece on. So that is happening as well. As Jefferson said, we've frozen the budget, so we're basically not allowing any money to be spent unless it's approved by either himself or myself. We went through all of our federal grants last week together.
Yeah.
And we shifted some money around to try and alleviate some of the district funds that we anticipate that we're gonna be short. I think what did we recoup, about $120,000, $130,000 that we were able to shift, I think?
Yeah, a good chunk of that. One of the big overages we're seeing this year, which is worse than any other year, is homeless transportation.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it is an eligible activity within Title I grant, so we are now moving anything that's in excess of budget into the Title I grant to cover that.
I also was gonna be talking to you at some point tonight about the possibility of us hiring a CDL driver. The amount of money we're wasting on transportation for kids is crazy. There's 3 kids that we have going out of district. We're spending over $120,000 to have them transported back and forth. And it's just the Spalding rehab, not too far away. So, we have our vans. What's holding us up is you can't use the vans if you're taking kids from the home to school or school to home. But if you get a CDL driver, you can use the vans. So instead of using First Student or using taxis, which we've been using, one of the things I wanted to talk about is the potential for us to hire a driver. And certainly we could find a driver for less than $120,000 a year to drive a few kids over to Spalding and back. So all these things that have happened, Jack, within the last probably 10 or 12 days, as we look at the deficit and try to attack the deficit. I've been very candid with the city council every month about where we're at in terms of our projected shortfall at this point. Jefferson's gonna go to the city council meeting with me next month, the February meeting, to talk to them about it, to answer questions as well. We will continue to update both the board and the city council about where we're at every month. So there's no surprises as we, progress throughout the year. We won't be Merrimack Valley in terms of anything being a secret around what's happening here in the Franklin School District. We report out to you guys every month, we report out to the city every month where we're at, so, and we'll continue to do so.
So along those lines too, would you need a CDL driver, or would you need a school bus certificate?
We have to verify that. When we talked with Winnisquam, Superintendent Winnisquam believed it was a CDL, but we're gonna check into see what we need to make sure it's the right thing before we post. But I wanted to talk to you tonight about it, to say, this is a possible avenue of savings, but something I wanna say, you know, is this something you want us to pursue? Because it would seem to make sense that we could do that and find somebody to do that for us, instead of paying these outside transportation companies that are just costing, not just us, but everybody in the region is, you know, saying the same thing, that they can't believe how much money they're spending on transportation right now, so.
Could you also partner with like Munisquam if you do transport?
Yeah, we could do that too, yeah.
So
Yeah, and we had those conversations as well. I mean, Winnisquam has vans, we have vans. We talked about a driver and sharing a driver. And I said, well, I'll approach my board first, he said, because that was what we had identified. So, and we had the meeting here tonight to talk to you about it, so.
Michael?
Is there any requirement for there to be a monitor on board the transportation?
For some students, there is. We have internal monitors that we use on our buses already, Mike. So it wouldn't be anything for us to put a monitor on a bus. It's something we do all the time. There's no monitor on the buses when the transportation companies pick some of these kids up and bring them to these out-of-district placements. That right now, there are no monitors, so.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Any other questions for Jefferson? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Item number 11, committee reports. Are there any other committee reports other than the one that I have? Nobody else met? Okay. I'll just do quickly. Policy committee met on, January 14th. And we were able to approve some prior minutes. We reviewed a number of board-related policies that were brought to our attention. One of those we did adopt changes, and you will see that come for first read next month. One other we reviewed, and a third we opted not to adopt. And so that's basically kind of what we went over. We also talked about volunteer recognition breakfast, which I will be talking about in another item. And at our next meeting, we will also, we already have some policies on the docket for next meeting. And our meeting that we just determined is on February 11th at 4:30. So that's policy. Any others? Okay. None. Next month we'll have more. All right, so next, item number 12, new business with Superintendent Magallo.
Yes, so I have a nice short list for our first meeting of the year here tonight. So I just wanted to reiterate what has already been said about the focus walks. Jewel did a wonderful job organizing that, putting that together. I know we had 3 board members participated in that. We ran walks at all 3 schools. We have the sign-up sheet already out there for the February focus walk. I don't remember the date. Someone probably looking, the 11th, February 11th. So for our new members, the goal was to have school board members have a chance to do a walkthrough of each of the 3 schools, and we had identified 4 different dates throughout the year, this year, for those to happen. The walkthroughs occur with an administrator, with board members, and we also have asked and invited teachers to join these walkthroughs, so they get a chance to see their colleagues in action, and they get to go to a different school if they'd like to go as well. We had 1 teacher partake in that in the first one, and that was great to see. We did a big report out. Jewel has a 4 or 5 page report out that she did to the entire district on the walkthroughs, which was very well received. We expect to get more teachers involved for the next one as well. So if you get a chance to take a look, there's a Google sign-up sheet that you can go through, your school board email, you'll see the invite for that. And it'd be great to have as many board members participate with the 4 dates that we have as possible, but I would say it was exactly as we planned, and it was great to see people take advantage of that. So, and I don't know which one, I think Lori, were you on that? I'm trying to remember who was on there. I know Marie was on it, Leanne, you were on it. don't know if you have anything you want to share. And, yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I know one of the board members was really thrilled and surprised by what she saw. It was not what she had expected, because school has changed quite a bit over the last 20 to 30 years. So she's not here tonight, but I'm sure that's what she would have said, that's what she said in the debrief that I was made aware of as well, so. So please take a look at the calendar, and if you can participate, that would be great. Next up is next year's 25-26 school district calendar. So the process for making the calendar is, as a region, we send our kids to the Hewitt Technical Center in Laconia, so we try to align the calendar as much as we can to Laconia. By law, we have to do that now. The state legislature put a law in place that says we can't be any different than 10 days of the year from our regional technical centers. So this is aligned to the Laconia Center as much as it can be. We've got a couple in-service days on election days. The rest are aligned around Laconia. Labor Day is on the 1st of September this year. It's really early. Traditionally, we have not started school before September for quite a few years now. I'm wondering about not next year, but the year after. I'm guessing that Labor Day will be late, so that might be something we have to talk about in the future. It'll be tough, because we're still only getting out of school on June 18th, which is still a little bit later than some of the other districts, so. But after I align it with Laconia, I meet with the teachers union. They meet with their members, and they review the calendar as well, and they give us any input that they want to give us. I got all positive input from this calendar here. But we can take questions on it. Somebody said there's a typo, so I'd love to hear about the typo as well.
Right, it is, I have the typo. August, September, in the word list, it says August 30th, no school. I believe that should be August 29th, the Friday. August 30th would be the Saturday based on the calendar.
So let's see. Yes, because the 30th would be the Saturday, right?
Yes, but,
You got it.
okay. So we'll
August
move that.
29th.
I'm sorry, the change, August.
In August, September, August 30th, on the list should be August 29th. Any other questions before?
I noticed that we have 180 days allocated in the calendar. Do we keep all 180? And we're not 180 days anymore via the state reporting. We're hours, is that correct?
We have traditionally gone 180 days, but we've gone by hours. I mean, typically, what's happened is we've seen what kind of snow days we have, and then the board has changed to hours, so we can manipulate the end of the school year.
My only question would be that Monday and Tuesday of December. So Monday's the 22nd is a full day, and then there's another release, so I don't know. I know that the tech center has those same days of the 22nd and 23rd as a full day as well. But all the other days seem to be somewhat in alignment. And it's a 10-day difference, correct? No greater than a 10-day difference?
Law says 10 days.
Right. So,
But we have one complaint with it. But obviously, the closer alignment we get, the better off the kids are, so.
so that would be my only suggestion. If the board would like to consider moving to 4 weeks at that December time or not. But
Would that push it out 2 days at the end of school? Not necessarily?
It would, but you can manipulate that. That's what we're saying is, although we go by the 180 days, if you count by instructional hours, you can trim days of school off. Now, traditionally, we haven't done that unless there's been a reason with snow to do that, because obviously the more days the school kids have, the better off in terms of learning they're gonna be. But some districts have manipulated that to get kids out of school earlier in the summer and whatnot, so.
I wonder if with the potential transportation savings of Winnisquam, if we need to do a comparison or see how close we are. if we're able to combine some efforts with transportation, for both Winnisquam and Franklin children combined.
Yeah. I would say we're probably very well aligned, Jane, because they're
Okay.
in the same region as us, so they align it as well. The only days that we can't manipulate are the ones with the Franklin election days.
We don't think they're doing hours. We think they're also doing days. Winnisquam, okay.
Yeah, typically they have, because we share transportation already with them, so that pretty much is what we do. I should have actually mentioned that when I talked about how we go through this process, but.
Yeah, it looks like it's the exact same pro forma calendar.
Yeah.
Verbatim.
So they're doing the 22nd full day and a half day on the 23rd.
They're doing the full day on the 23rd, but it still count for us, so I guess that's okay.
All right, so we need a motion.
I make a motion to accept the 25-26 school calendar as presented. Second.
All right, motion made by Jack, seconded by Mike. Any discussion, questions? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it, motion passes.
All right, super, we will get that out there and make it public ASAP. All right, and then the last one is, we are reestablishing our, kind of our Portrait of a Graduate Committee in the district, and we're framing it around the community forum that we had on last Thursday night. And we are looking to have one board be a representative member of the district. It's not a board committee, but we always had a board member sit on that committee. It's a once-a-month night meeting commitment. So I don't know if you want to draw straws or whoever gets the short straw, but it would be great to have one person from the board be a member on that committee. The first meeting is
February 16th.
February 16th, which is, I believe, a Thursday night, or Wednesday night. Let me look, make sure.
Wait,
February, I think
was it the
February-
16th or was it the
February
19th?
16th is Sunday.
Or was it the 19th?
It's the 19th.
It's the 19th.
Wednesday, February 19th is the first meeting of that committee. I will share that Liz has been doing some work with that committee yeah, in terms of planning and whatnot, so I don't know if that's something that she wants to continue or not.
I would like to volunteer. What's that? Yay. Okay, I was like, we wanted to bring it in case somebody felt extremely passionate about it, but I have been working with the committee and I would be happy to volunteer.
Liz, if there's meetings you can't attend, I'm happy to.
Okay. Perfect.
That's
Perfect.
great.
We'll move forward with that. Thank you, Jane.
That's a good idea, Jane.
That is a really good idea, because like April, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We're also hoping that our mayor or city council member will be participating in that. I know Des has the date written down. I made sure she had the date written down. But we'll also have staff members on that committee, and a lot of parents have volunteered to be on that too. So I'm looking forward to reestablishing and getting that moving. So superb, and that is all I have tonight.
All right. Thank you, Dan. So we'll move on to item 13, school board goals update. I will kick us off with the volunteer breakfast. We mentioned the date in the December meeting, but this is the official save the date, Thursday, April 24th, 9 a.m. We will be having a volunteer appreciation breakfast, open to all volunteers in the district. More details to come. We have many ideas floating around. The policy committee started this work. Now that we have established the school board goals committee, we will be working with them and kind of transferring that to work on the details and the logistics. So that work will continue there to get the details ironed out. Jane, you're on that committee as well. Is there anything you would like to add?
I'm glad some city representatives are here tonight, because maybe you could get a shout out at the next city council meeting too. So we have a lot to celebrate in the district, you know, the gym remodeling, all the work the Citizen of the Year did on our Class Day parade last year. So we're hoping for great attendance, and I think it's gonna take the whole community, so.
So more to come. We'll give regular updates.
Said 9 or 9:30.
9 a.m.
That was the
Here.
April.
All right, next, focus walk schedule slide up. Do we have anything more to add?
Yep, just know that
It's coming.
the invite is out there to everybody.
Sign up, it's fun. All right, next, school board website hub. I will toss it to Lori to discuss the awesome work happening with that.
So, working with Dave Cole, we were able to get a school board site. I can provide the login information for the school board to be able to get there. But the purpose of the site is to basically have a hub for us to have all of our resources. So all of the things that we would possibly need to have that in one location. There is some documentation as well, links to the board minutes and things like that are also on that particular page, even though they're in some other spots. So before you guys leave tonight, I'll give you that and show you where it is, so you can check it out. It is a work in progress, so if you have any input, please let us know, so we can make some changes. But basically, it's information for everybody, especially new members, so they don't have to go hunting for things. It's just gonna be in one place, and we can always add more to it as needed.
Yeah, you have to see it to see how great it is. It's a wonderful site she's put together. It's just amazing, so thank you, Lori, for doing that, so.
Yeah. Turns out there's a lot of information that we have to process and go through, so it's great to have that in one spot. There hasn't been a meeting yet, so I don't know if anybody else has any updates about the school board goals. Okay. All right, so we'll finish up with that. There'll be more to come throughout the year as that committee starts meeting. Yes, Lori?
We want to talk about mentorship.
Oh, yeah, do we want to assign mentors? Yeah. Part of our school board goals is us supporting one another, and we had talked briefly about a mentor program, kind of unofficially, for new members. And so we kind of want to have a quick discussion of, do we want to move forward with that? Do we have volunteers to be mentors to our new our new school board member, and kind of work through that process?
I personally think it would be a good idea to move forward with that. And I don't necessarily know that we need like a person for every person. We possibly could just have one contact that people could reach out to, so we don't tie up multiple people. But that's just a thought.
Okay.
Sorry, Jack.
Yeah.
I was going to reiterate it as well. I think it's a good idea to have something like that, where you can have a resource of somebody that's doing the same thing you are, that has been doing it and has experience.
And it may take some of the apprehension away. So just a safe space to be able to ask questions that you may think that you should know, but you don't. So I think it's a good idea.
How official do we want to make it? Do we want to just say, like, if you are willing to be contacted by a new member if they have a question, do that? Or do we want to have a sort of official pairing?
I think we should all be able to be approached.
So, like,
What do you
raise your
think?
hand if you don't want me reaching out to you at all if I need help.
Great question.
There you go.
Okay.
Everybody's good.
Thank you.
And if we ever have a new member who is uncomfortable saying that in public, they can bring up in non-public that they really want help, and then we can so we can deal with it on an individual basis, but unofficially, we are all willing to be contacted if our new members have any questions. Okay. Got the numbers. Awesome. Okay, so we will move forward with our unofficial mentor program. That sounds great. Anything else for that? All right. Thank you, Lori, for reminding me about that. All right, we'll move on to item 14, policy. We have some second reads that we need motions on, or just one.
Adopting the
Yes.
verbiage.
Yes, so second read is the official one, so we'll make the motion, and then if there are any discussions that we can have that, and then we'll just vote on it.
So I move that the Franklin School Board adopts the verbiage of policies DGD, DAF, JLP, GBCD-RG1, and JLCJA, their second reads as written.
I'll second.
Thank you. Motion made by Mike, seconded by Jane. Any discussion? Yes, Lori.
So on policy, DGD, with the credit card purchases, it's noted the purchases shall be for items authorized by adopted school district budget. I was wondering if we could amend that for grants as well. Because, for example, we had the printer grant, and I think it would speed up procurement of things like that if we're able to utilize a credit card versus trying to work with companies on POs.
Oh, like the Hanford car.
Do you consider grants to be in the budget, Jeff? How do you,
I can.
how do you
It's
interpret
subject-
that?
I would say they're considered part of the
I
budget.
would too, I guess. I already
Yeah.
consider them already included, Lori.
That was my only answer.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
Okay. So we satisfied?
That
Okay.
work? Okay.
Excellent. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Policy is adopted. Thank you all. More to come next month. And so we'll move to item 15, our late items / other.
Yes, so I got a couple items, but let's start with the skating rink, because our folks have been waiting patiently out here. So, I know Mike was approached as well, and I was approached as well, about potentially putting a skating rink down on the lower field.
So, I was not just approached, right, I am actually part of the ad hoc group.
Okay.
Who is
Take the
who's
lead on
trying
that.
to put this together. Kathy really covered the majority, I think, of what needs to be said. Kathy may not be aware, but I did reach out to Superintendent Legallo last week and had him reach out and get information about the impact potential to the school's insurance policy by having this on school grounds. They were informed by the school's insurance policy holder that the liability would pass up to the city's policy, which would then roll up to what Kathy said about the city's minimal impact to their policy. But that's going to be a city council conversation. What we're looking for right now is sort of broad approval from the board to allow us to move forward to the city council to allow them to consider this. But I'm happy to answer any questions. We did have a meeting a week ago today. Yeah, a week ago today. Oh, yeah, a week ago. But as Kathy said, this is not likely to be, it will not be a permanent fixture here. But we are looking to hopefully make this purchase of this secondhand 3/4 NHL size rink and to hopefully set it up soon, as soon as practical on that site. It is an excellent site. It is close to the water source, obviously. The roadway can be cleared for emergency service vehicles. It's fairly central to our downtown and to our population center, so it should be walkable or an easy, quick drive for the majority of our families looking to use it. But that's
So for wording for the motion, we're looking for the school board approve the city pursuing use of the lower field of Franklin High School for an ice skating rink?
yeah.
So moved.
Very well crafted.
Well done, Jane.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Jane and seconded by Jeff. Any discussion, questions? Yes.
I actually think it's a great idea and think it's a great spot. The only concern I have, now that the insurance has been discussed, is the road. So that road is horrendous, period. So I don't know if it would need any repair. I mean, I'm sure the snow would fill in the holes. But it's not, like, I don't want to drive down that road for a track in the spring with my truck. And the parking lot is similar, from what I recall, similar condition. So it might need some site work.
So, agree, 100%. The conversation there is really going to be, I think, between the city MSD and the emergency, so we're partnering with the fire department and local first responders as a part of the project, right? So any requirement that is going to necessitate access, whether it be repairs to the roadway, that's going to be something the city council is going to have to take up. But again, to Kathy's point, the support for this has been unbelievable, and it's been it's one of those rare cases, I think, where we're seeing the entire city actually coalesce around an idea. So it would be wonderful to see this as really not just a skating rink, but an opportunity to build some bridges within the community overall.
Do we have a hot water source down there?
No, but somebody has, what's the word I'm looking for? Somebody has committed to us a portable sink. We've also had commitments of portable lavatories, solar lighting. Joe Guarno has committed all the lumber required to set it up, and we've had a ton of volunteer commitment as well for time.
Some of the maintenance, I worked at an ice arena and did ice management and everything else for a number of years. That's one of the things you can use to at least set it overnight so it smooths out again. But that's just something, I just didn't know if you had a question. And Ms. Fuller had stated that this was a one-year thing and it was done.
So we are currently in the process. We are currently in the process of looking at other sites close to the downtown. There are potentially some other really good candidates that aren't currently available. Currently, we're asking for the 1 year.
Okay.
I
didn't specify that in the motion in case
So,
things don't work out for next
Can
year.
we amend the motion to say that?
We would need to. I mean,
Yeah, I think you gotta, we can't look into our crystal ball tonight, so, yeah, I think we
I mean,
keep
if you use it
rolling.
again next year, so be it, the motion still stands.
Right.
But I just wasn't sure the way that it was discussed originally with the 1 year thing. I thought we were only gonna do this year and not have an ice rink in the future. So I was just a little confused by that. So it will be a repeated thing that we could potentially do?
Potentially, yes. So it could be. The idea is that this will be an every year thing, but not
Okay.
necessarily here.
Understood.
Okay, so the rink, the rink can be reused, right? So
Yes.
my question was like, is it a one, okay.
No,
So
it's made to
not
be,
the
yeah,
rink.
it's made to be pulled up,
Okay.
stored, and
Okay, so
reestablished.
this could be, okay,
yes.
that was my question. Okay. Any other questions?
When is the next meeting?
Of the city council,
No, of this ad hoc committee?
this Friday, above the library at 5 p.m.
At the library.
All are welcome.
24?
Friday the 24th? Oh, wait.
Happy dates in question. So, just to amend the motion, we're gonna say,
I thought we were.
Yeah, I had made it broad,
Yeah.
just to prove.
A broad, yeah, I think.
So it'll be as of tonight?
sorry,
Can I read what I have
Yeah,
for the motion?
yeah, why don't you, yeah.
I have a motion to allow the city to utilize the lower field of the high school for a winter skate rink for the community. It doesn't specify
I
time.
think, and I think we leave it open, because like Doug said, if we can always revisit it in the future, so I think we're good.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Any other questions or discussion? All right, seeing none, all in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? The motion passes. Hand up to the city council.
So the second item is a late item from the city as well. Some of you may know that the city is looking to relocate some of their employees as the Opera House renovation project moves forward. I had toured Chief Foss several months ago to show him some areas of the high school that could potentially be made available. He has since reached back out to me about a week ago. Right now, what he's anticipating is that The finance director and 2 finance people would need some space here at the high school, and only city employees would have to access the high school. So it's a lot better situation than what he was originally talking to us about, which is, we thought at one point that we would be the residents of Franklin would be accessing the high school throughout the day to do business here. That is not what he's anticipating at this point. I told him I would come back to the board tonight to talk about this. Dave and I have toured around the high school and believe there's some space that we could make available, kind of in an isolated part of the high school. So he's looking, and nothing is confirmed yet, but he's looking to do this in May or June, so it might happen over our summer recess, which would be the ideal time, obviously, for something like this to happen. So I guess I'm looking for the board's approval to continue to move forward to work with the city on the potential for 3 finance people to be housed here. They anticipate it to be for a year or a little bit longer. So I want to put that forward to the board for discussion and potentially approval here tonight.
You looking for a motion?
Yeah.
It's just to continue to explore or to be able to move forward?
To move forward at this point, yeah. I think they're ready to move forward and looking to now, I don't want to use the word finalize, but really get serious about this is what they want to do now, so.
I'll make a motion to give authorization for the city employees to relocate to Franklin High School.
Second.
All right, motion made by Jack, seconded by Lori. Any discussion, questions?
What's going to be required as far as security and access to the building for these employees?
So they'll need security access like we have already, so we already have security access. So my guess is we would give the 3 employees access during the work hours, so we can control access that way. If they needed more access than that, then we would grant it to them. In terms of infrastructure, they would need to set up their technology and whatnot, so they have the ability to run business the way they need to run it. So we haven't had those discussions yet about what that would look like. And, I mean, I think that's the next phase, is to look at those specifics, Mike. Right now, it's looking at, is the building accessible, is it available, and can we move forward with the planning of the potential of these 3 people coming here. When we first met, when we were looking at more than 3 people, we were talking about construction that would have had to happen in terms of security and no access to the school, that kind of thing. All the city employees are fingerprinted, so the people that would be coming here would be fingerprinted just like any other employee would be. So in my mind, there's no real reason to do any kind of separation, segregation, lockdown type of system where one doesn't access the other kind of thing. We do have an area of the high school that's pretty remote, that we can make available to them in that space. It's near the front entrances as well. So it's kind of an ideal situation using the fire chief's verbiage when I showed him some of the space the first time around, so.
And they said this would commence in or around
May
May?
or June, and obviously we would push for June because it makes more sense for us to do this and get everything ready when everybody goes home for the summer. If we have to move rooms and offices and that kind of thing, it doesn't make sense for us to do it. Although, by the end of May, if we had to, I mean, the spaces that we're talking about, we're not talking about relocating students or classes, we're just talking about offices and that kind of stuff. So it's not that big of a deal if we had to do it a little bit quicker.
Any other discussion or questions? All right. Seeing none, we have a motion on the table. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? The motion passes.
Great, thank you guys. I'll keep you posted on how that progresses throughout the spring. And those are the only 2 late items I had.
All right, any other late or other items? All right, seeing none, we will move on to item 16, which is our second public participation. A reminder that this is our public comment, and no more than 30 minutes will go to this portion of the meeting. And if you do wish to speak, we ask to keep your comments to 3 minutes, and please state both your name and the ward you live in. Do we have anybody who would like to participate?
We just want to say thank you. We're very excited, us in the community.
Thank you very much. All right, we will go ahead and close our public participation. And we do need our non-public, so we'll need a motion to go into non-public. Moved by Lori. Second by Leanne. And roll call vote, please.
Lori Cass?
Yes.